Hey everyone, it's me Doomlink and welcome back to the... well, I suppose I can say it. The Doomlink's Live Hunt series. Again, I've tried to get in the habit of introducing the game rather than the series because, you know, sometimes the series changes depending on what ends up happening in the recording. I can't always know what's going to happen. But, yeah, I think it'll be stuff that would constitute live hunts, that would be my guess. But, anyway, hello Vernon. Did you end up responding to what I said in Discord? I was just getting ready for the live stream, so... yeah, I'm gonna have to watch. Just clip me, you know what, I'll watch it while live for your benefit. Okay, just for the VOD viewers, I was having a conversation about Vernon regarding the first Dark Souls game. He died in a way that he objects to, and, or at the very least, got very annoyed by, and I'm just going to try and see what he did wrong, because he's been saying the AI of the game is shit as a result, and so I just want to see if I can work that out. So yeah, just clip that, and thanks for the subscription. But yeah, clip it, and I'll watch it while live, and we'll see what happened. I don't think it's something I can comfortably share with the VOD viewers, or even the live viewers through the live stream. It would take a little bit of effort to share the screen and all that, but I know I could probably try to... yeah, I could probably try to share it. But because I've already got a screen share going for the roulette, so now that I think about it, it's not too hard to do. So we'll probably check that out. It's not necessarily related to this game, but it's better than me watching it and you not being able to see it. That's what I would say. This guy's name is Number 1, Pico Rules. I hope it's not the Pico that I'm thinking of, because not many people would, you know, make a public statement of, well, you couldn't really call that public. It's not like I know who this guy is. Yeah, Number 1, he plays Generations Ultimate. I know this guy, but, you know. Must be a different Pico. Who knows? Anyway, it was very weird watching that suddenly take over the anime community's collective consciousness. It was quite an underground thing back when it came out, back on the old Yaoi Haven website. I'm gonna get off that subject. Okay, so help please. Yeah, sure. I'm guessing someone's already taken the spot by now, because it took me a while to get in there. Alrighty. Okay, they didn't depart without me. That's always the second concern, if you've taken a while to get in there with a quest on the board. You just hope that they haven't departed without you or anything like that. I might stick with Hammer. I'm going to say fuck the roulette because I feel like using Hammer for some reason. I will change to a Dragon Hammer though. Would I rather Dragon or Thunder? I'll go Dragon. Why would you need a... oh. So Vernon, one thing that you're going to have to do, because by the sounds of it you haven't done this, you have to enable Twitch to... well, no, you must... I'm not sure what you're talking about, because your live stream should be automatically archived and you can highlight that. So just highlight that. Because you're not going to be able to download the live stream unless it's auto-archiving to Twitch, unless you're doing a local recording whilst also going live. So, which doesn't work with my OBS for some reason. It likes to shit itself as a result. I don't know why. It's certainly nothing to do with my PC's capabilities, but you're doing a local recording. Well, don't do that, because there's nothing negative whatsoever about auto-archiving to Twitch. Like, you don't necessarily have to even keep up the full live stream on your channel. But having said that, no, I've checked your channel before, and you do have auto-archives on your channel. Because that's how I was watching some of the stuff that you'd done in the past. So, you should be able to, unless you stopped doing that, But yeah, you don't... Like, let's say, for instance, that you, for some reason, didn't want to have your live streams in full archived to Twitch. What you can do is manually delete those, but at least enable the live streams to be archived for purposes of highlighting. You know, there's nothing... I would say it's a positive thing to be able to highlight things for your Twitch channel for people to watch in the future. Okay, Vernon, well, that's... I do realise that you are indeed doing a local recording, but my point is that if it is archiving to Twitch, you are able to use Twitch to highlight that clip and then share that with me. You don't require video editing under those circumstances. It's very quick and easy. There is a highlight option in your video producer for that archived VOD. And that will allow you to highlight the video. And you can do that in the future for anything that, you know, if anything funny happens or noteworthy happens, you can highlight that for Twitch. I don't know why. I was aiming for the head initially, wasn't I? This is not good positioning at all. That was absolutely terrible. Could not get much worse than that. Try to upswing the... Oh, just barely missed. I probably should have brought flash bombs. Again, it's just... I'm not in the habit of doing it, you have to understand. So I don't really think to bring them. For any quest, quite frankly. But for Kushala Daora, yeah. There is a temptation to do that. More than a temptation, almost a requirement. Because he stays in the air for so long, and especially for a hammer user, for instance, there's not much I can do while he is in the air. I basically just have to wait for him. Which is annoying. Also, hello Hossein and hello Juvenator. Here we go. I shouldn't be affected by the black wind from this distance. Now, it looked as if I didn't actually deal KO damage there. As far as that hit that I just did, the upswing, I would say that lag compensation would have dealt the damage there. Or not just the damage, but also the KO buildup. That's what I... Don't you... That is a terrible combo. I'm being... And I didn't mean to roll in that direction. That is the fault of my controller there. But you could see that that would have been a terrible combo. I would have been... I very easily could have been hit after being affected by wind pressure there. So I wouldn't have appreciated that at all. I'm not hammering very well. And just to add insult to injury, I'm being flinched by the longsword user. Yeah, this is not my finest hour when it comes to hammering this monster. Thanks for the subscription, Takashi. That's another 3 months, jeez. What do you want now? Must be sitting at like 7 months or something like that. Maybe 8. Because I also have to factor in the time between now and when you first subscribed for what I believe to be 6 months at that time. I don't know. And I don't even know how long ago that was. I don't know if that was 2 months ago or a month ago. I'm not keeping track of time at all at the moment. Here we go, it's a good head flinch. Shit. Missed the golf swing on the head. I've yet to get a KO. Annoying as that is. Oh, I see, I should have gone forward. The reason why I didn't go up for an attack on the head was because I was expecting him to run forwards. And he didn't do that, so that was not good for me. Why did I do that? What I was going for there was a jumping slam. But first of all, there is no actual ridge right where I was trying to access a ridge to jump off. And second of all, I definitely didn't have the time to pull that off. You could see that he just ran straight into me, so... I'm making some terrible decisions today with this, this hammering process. Sorry if I hit anyone there. Being affected by wind pressure, of course. What is time, really, yeah. fuck is this? You know, that thing moves faster than you might expect. This is definitely a warm-up hunt, guys. I don't know what's going on with my head, but I can't play today. That's what it feels like. Just can't play right now. I mean, I'll probably do fine after this hunt, but this is definitely what you call a warm-up. I feel out of it. You know, if I could get a KO at some point in this hunt, that would be just phenomenal. I mean, yes, I could have technically been performing better than this, but I've hit his head quite a bit, and I deem it to be consistent enough to have, by this point, achieved a KO. But apparently the game's like, nope, not good enough, Doomlink, sorry. Like, fuck off. Unbelievable. Anyway, I'm doing what I can. And check Hunsterverse to see if I'm live. Should be. If I'm not, then I'm actually going to be spitting. Are you fucking me in my arsehole? Oh no, it is. It's. I'm live. We're alright. We're alright. I just travelled that whole distance without even looking. I can't believe I made it into this area. How did I manage that? My character must have just slid into the area by running against the wall or something. It's kind of crazy. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but I made it into here without looking at the screen at all. So, that was kind of weird. And hello, Souls player. I'll read what you said in just a moment. Just trying to get a fucking KO if I could possibly do that. You know, I don't ask for much in this world, but one KO is about what I'm looking for here. Oh, great. I think I was flinched by the bow guy first, and then there was a chain flinch from wind press. Oh, I was thinking he was going to land. Get the fuck down here, please. Landing this time? No. There goes Bizuki. Down for the count. Oh, please. Alright, I'll go for a flinch. Off the leg. Sorry, Arclay. That was quite the faux pas on my part. Bad positioning. Timing wasn't too bad. Positioning, don't do that. I didn't go for the attack. Excuse me, I didn't go for the attack because I knew that I wasn't going to make it, but I still got hit anyway because I'd made the jump. For fuck's sake. Missed the head. I mean, how much do I need to hit this fucking head to get a KO? Can someone tell me? Something's changed. I'm telling you, it didn't used to be this hard to get a fucking KO in Monster Hunter. They must have made it harder to get a successful KO from KO build-up in this particular game, and possibly Generations as well. I don't know, I could always be wrong, but I don't recall it being this fucking hard. Unless I got a KO and didn't notice, but how could that be fucking possible? Because I've been watching the monster the whole time, and the KO is a big part of my hunting experience with the hammer, so how would that go unnoticed? Also, what is going on with the internet? Okay. Please, please. Head flinch? Good. Can you... There's nothing more fucking annoying than desperately trying to KO a fucking monster and then some longsword Larry motherfucker swinging his sword around on the head. You fucking piss stain of a human being. Alright, well. Hot drink time. That's absolutely not true, then. Just do... I mean, you're able to set the time. Just put the time, you've got start time and end time. You just have to put the number in and then hit enter, and then that will... Maybe you're not hitting enter or something. Now, the highlight feature is a little buggy. It's not great. But it's not going to force you to clip 15 minutes. That's definitely not what's happening there. Yeah, Nathaniel, that's what we used to call them all back in Try, Longsword Larrys, because, you know, the idea was that they were the most brainless hunters because of how Try Longsword was. It basically promoted the most brainless kind of play in Monster Hunter. I think I might give up on this fucking KO. I'm not going to give up on hitting the head because that's where my damage is, but you know, as far as getting a fucking KO, I'd have better luck winning the fucking lottery. Look at this thing chasing me. Can't believe this asshole of a monster is... How are we at 3 fucking... or 2 deaths? I don't know, this has been an absolute shit show of a fucking quest. This is the Zelda one, isn't it? Yeah, Legend of Zelda Courage, which is very good for large Elder Dragon gems, but obviously not very good for damage dealt to us, and also not very good in terms of health of the monster. But whatever. Am I using Slugger? No. Just Knockout King. Knockout King does fuck all, I have to tell you. It's such an infinitesimally small fucking increase to your KO builder that I pretty much only have it there so that I can feel good about making a set that's specific to hammer. You know, oh, I've got a skill that's specific to hammer. This is a nice set. That's literally the only reason why I have KO King, because it's not that good. It's really not. In fact, you could probably argue that there are other damage skills that would just be across the board better to have. No. I didn't even know Slugger was in this game, to be completely honest. I thought Slugger was from 3rd gen. But, oh, it was dangerous. Would absolutely love some flash bombs, but whatever. I can't really speak ill of team damage here because I've not been hitting this thing consistently. And obviously whatever KO build-up I had before is all but gone because it's been like 2 minutes since I last hit this thing's head. He's not even going to turn to face me in spite of the fact that the enemies he is chasing, from his perspective, have left the fucking area, so that's always great. Nice AI, mate. I'm not aiming for that head. Oh no. See how it's hitting the neck instead? That's part of the issue with hammering this monster. It's very easy to hit the neck instead of the head. So that's... what's that? What broke there? Was that the head? It took that long to break the head. What the fucking hell? Go for a super pound. As you can see, no KO on the super pound during a roar. I believe that's how it was in the old games too. I'm surprised that remained the same. Maybe if you stand really far away you can do it, but I think part of the issue is with super pounds is that it's so easy for the damage to be dealt to the neck instead, which obviously deals no KO. At least I broke the head, but seriously. Of course, breaking the head of the old 2nd gen Elder Dragons is very useful because it prevents them from using their special ability. In the case of Kushala Daora, we're of course referring to the wind effect. I'd like to use Spinning Meteor, but I'll probably wait for a proper knockdown to do that. I mean, I had opportunities, but I had forgotten. Sorry, Arclay. I'm engaging in rather visceral and enraged hammering at this time. That does not factor in playing as one should in a team. I'm just going to make sure my chroma key's fine. It's very dark. We're all good. Very dark in the sense that it's raining outside, got no natural light and all that. Oh, you meant Knockout King. Oh, I see. I thought that there was such a thing as Feline Slugger in the past. But, yeah, anyway. When you said Slugger, you were referring to Knockout King. Good to know. So, I think I just did that entire hunt. It was 10 minutes. Didn't get a KO. I don't know how many KO hits I got off. or as far as like KO build-up hits I got off, it was something like, I don't know, 25 or 30, probably more. I don't know, I'm not counting them, but what I can tell you right now is that I didn't get a successful KO. So obviously I wasn't hitting it consistently enough for the build-up to really work properly, so that was extremely frustrating. Anyway. What's the drink today? Just port. Just the typical. If it's red, it's probably port. Well, if it's in a wine glass, it's probably port. I haven't had sparkling wine on camera in a long time. You know, there used to be quite a great variety in drinks that I'd have on camera. Like, seriously, I'd have all these different sorts of beers, and I'd have brandy, and whiskey, and rum, and gin, and, you know, sparkling wine, different types of red wine. I mean, the whole, like, literally, so many different types of beverages, but I don't have much money at the moment, so I can't really justify those purchases, I regret to say. It's basically just port, and occasionally a bottle of whiskey, but yeah, that's the way we're going these days. Okay, I was trying to look up at what was said before. Yeah, I would imagine that, well, it was in my darkest hour, although the funny thing is that it would be a bit of an insult to compare the experience of Dave Mustaine when he was, like, legally dead to me having a bad day with Hammer. Oh dear. Yeah, so, Souls Player, one of the reasons why I call World a reboot is because it was the first game to do away with generational naming. The generational naming has been very consistent throughout the entire Monster Hunter series, more so in Japanese than in English, because they did have different translation teams in the English version. For instance, the original naming for the G-Rank game was Unite. That was with Monster Hunter Freedom Unite. The only reason why the first G-Rank game, being Monster Hunter G, was not called Unite in English was because we got a portable version of the game that was just on its own. It didn't need to be called Freedom Unite, it was just called Freedom because it was the first in a portable series. Monster Hunter Freedom being something of a port of Monster Hunter G. But to refer specifically to the naming scheme of the Japanese games, it's been the same all throughout. It started with Monster Hunter, and then that of course was the high rank game, and then Monster Hunter G was the G rank game. Following that was Monster Hunter 2, also called Monster Hunter DOS, and then you had Monster Hunter Portable, which was going back to first gen. That was from Monster Hunter G basically, but put onto the portable systems without the city mode. And then you had Monster Hunter Portable Second, Monster Hunter Portable Second being the high rank version of Monster Hunter Portable Second G. And I'm going to leave this room. And then after Monster Hunter Portable Second G, there was Monster Hunter 3, also called Monster Hunter Tri. So we compare Monster Hunter DOS to Monster Hunter Tri, same naming scheme. And then Monster Hunter 3 was given the name Monster Hunter 3G when that was given a G-rank game. There was also Monster Hunter Portable 3rd, which was the next iteration after Portable 2nd G. We in the West call it Portable 3rd because it never received an English translation. We don't call the games Portable 2nd and Portable 2nd G because in the West it was called Monster Hunter Freedom 2 and Monster Hunter Freedom Unite. The first appearance of Ultimate was for Monster Hunter 3G, which is called Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate. So basically Unite was swapped for Ultimate in the English naming. And then again, following the same naming scheme, we had Monster Hunter 4, except it didn't have like some other word for it. I don't know what language the numbers are in. It's not Italian, it's not... Anyway, the point is that it's It's some other language, so DOS, try, I don't know. But the point is that they didn't have that for Monster Hunter 4. They walked away from that, possibly because up until that point, DOS and Try were portable console games with city modes, which was a very specific type of Monster Hunter experience that was not reflected in Monster Hunter 4. Monster Hunter 4 was on the 3DS, and only on the 3DS. It then, of course, was Monster Hunter 4G in the G-Rank version. We got Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate. After that, well, I suppose technically the generational naming was abandoned after 4, although it was deemed to still be in 4th generation. So, we had Monster Hunter Cross in Japanese, and which was translated as Generations, and then Monster Hunter Double Cross was the G-Rank version of Monster Hunter Cross. Because they wanted to be consistent with the generational naming, or the, I guess the G-Rank naming in English, the game Monster Hunter Generations then became Generations Ultimate. For the most part, there are very distinctive generations of Monster Hunter, as reflected in their names. The only game, I guess, that's in a specific generation of Monster Hunter that doesn't have a number would be Generations and Generations Ultimate. You could technically include Monster Hunter and Monster Hunter G, but that's because they were the first games. So, yeah. Anyway, that might have been very confusing because I was going back and forth between the Japanese naming scheme and the English naming scheme, but overall, generational naming is not something to be interpreted. It's actually written right there. The number will be there, and this is really the only exception to that. Alright, so after that business, I will look for something else. How about this room? Sekai again. I've played with Sekai, unless this is the second time, or rather the second person named Sekai playing these days. Well, yeah, of course, yeah, you just send a link, that's all. You can't upload a video file, because Discord doesn't support large file uploads, so yeah, you just link to it, and it's like linking a YouTube video. You don't upload the YouTube video to Discord, you just link it, so it's the same on Twitch. It's a video streaming platform. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to watch this now, on stream. As far as whether or not I do it with audio, I suppose I could do it with audio. Let me just bring this up. So again, for reference, I just need to confirm that whatever Vernon had to deal with in... Actually, then again, this screen share will be awkward, because... Okay, I'll have to use my Discord capture thing. This is very annoying, because I don't have a specific crop for that. This one, no, I can't. Damn it. Okay, so I won't actually show it on the stream, and I won't play audio for it, but I'm just going to watch it and then react to it. Yeah, so it is where I suspected. Okay. So you dealt with the first two enemies without difficulty. Very much a... No. That's not... So the reason why the enemy came down is because previously he was in position to push down a flaming barrel. This time, that flaming barrel didn't exist because he only pushes it once. And with the barrel gone, he has an open... I guess, he has open access to you from the top of the stairs. And yeah, you just got a little bit too close to the stairs when you were backing away from the enemy that you had targeted. You went around the enemy to face your back towards the stairs, and that was close enough to the stairs to bring him down and attack you. Now, that's just... I don't think that's an AI issue. Not at all. If Demon Souls is more lenient, then that's all it is. Demon Souls is just more lenient. So, yeah. I can do an open hub. I don't mind. I don't really care either way, but if there are people who want to play, then they're welcome to. I'll just... Well, how many people want to play? So we've got Souls player who probably wants to hunt. Juvenator, if you want to hunt, let me know. Maybe Vernon wants to hunt. He hasn't come online yet, but... You won't. Well, let me say, Souls player, that Dave Mustaine's influence on Metallica is overstated. And the reason why is because people seem to... They want to perpetuate this myth that Metallica sounded the way it did because of Dave Mustaine. Now, he did write a lot of the songs of Kill 'Em All, but in terms of the sound of Metallica, and the fact that they were so different from everything else, was actually established by Lars and James. Because if you listen to the first Metallica demo, this is before the No Life to Leather demo, this was early 1982, when it was only James and Lars in the band, it had that same sound. And Dave Mustaine, they didn't even know Dave Mustaine yet. And I think the songs included were Hit the Lights and I don't know the other one. But I know Hit the Lights was like a 2-song demo, I believe, with just James and Lars. James on guitar and vocals, obviously, and Lars on drums. And, you know, it was the same sort of sound as what you got on No Life to Leather. So the point is that while Dave Mustaine wrote good songs, he was not the originator of the groundbreaking sound of Metallica in 1982. So, you know, he is not responsible for that. And it's very important that people understand that. Okay, so I'm going to make a room, and we'll keep it open for people. Haunt. Let's call it Haunt. The range will be 13, because maybe we won't have enough for all slots to be populated. That's fine, Vernon. But yeah, sorry to hear that you lost all those souls, but, yeah, the way that you're playing is not the way that they want you to, let me tell you that. The fact that you're going into Undead Burg, two-handing an Uchigatana and just mashing enemies to death, running into the danger zone, is literally the opposite of how they want you to play. So, yeah. It was unlucky, I would say, that you were still, I guess, killed in that situation, because you are well equipped for that style of play. But, you know, look at this guy. Good night. So I think Souls player is going to come in. But yeah, again, I'm very, well, I don't want to say I'm very knowledgeable, but because I do have an intense interest in heavy metal, and I'm an avid listener of the genre, I do know stuff. I just don't talk about it a lot because it's not really related to this. I try to stay on topic with Monster Hunter for the most part. This guy's going to have to learn that actually he's not disconnecting on account of his internet, he's being kicked. So, you know, I don't play with people who run into a room and before establishing what's going on in the room, runs to the quest giver and puts up their quest in the desperate hope that someone's just going to join anyway. So, you know, I'm not interested in that sort of play. It's not the ad hoc days on PSP anymore where communication was difficult. You know, you can fucking type. And if you can't speak English, well, that's even more reason to take it easy and just watch and wait. Like my new set? I look ridiculous, says Juvenator. Well, Yeah. Of course, it's about the function of the skills, not the look. Blaze, are you just a Souls player? I guess I don't know how I'm referring to you. Even if I call you Souls player, it sounds so generic. It's so not personal. But whatever. I'm gonna post a quest, and it's going to be something weak to Dragon because I don't want to change weapons. Basically, we're going to lose this Chinese guy because they're going to think that he's going to think, I know it's a guy, there's no such thing as a female Chinese gamer. Which I of course say in a tongue-in-cheek manner. But the point is that, you know, most Chinese players will play as female characters, and I know this from having played Monster Hunter Online, you see. But, yeah. I'm worried that we're going to lose that person, but whatever. No, that's the wrong thing. That's my channel. We want Wheel Decide. Yeah. Well, thanks, Wheel Decide. You always seem to do this. You always seem to just give me whatever. Whatever I happen to already have equipped and whatever I was intending on using anyway. So Blaze has gone and posted their own quest. You can never find my hubs. Well, half the fucking issue. You know what we'll do? Yeah, see, that Chinese person left anyway. What we're going to do is we're going to try this again. We're going to put a fucking password on the room because I'm sick. What's been happening here, and I was just hoping that everyone was ready to go, but what was happening there was that the room kept on filling up, and so as a result it wasn't appearing in Souls Player's search. So we're going to try that again. It's just going to be Haunt, and I'm going to put a password on it this time. Now, the annoying thing about that, actually I can remove the password after the three of us have gotten in. So, because you can actually edit the hub information after the hub has been created, so I will put a passcode in, everyone, and then 13. That should be fine. Passcode is going to be 8882. 8882. No, it's HR13 to 999. I almost never have a HR1 to 999. Because I don't want people doing their regular G-rank key quests. Because I've done them too many times. So I always have it to HR13 and above. So if that's what you were searching. But having said that, that shouldn't filter out my room. Because it should... Your filter is HR1 to 999, so technically this is within that bracket. I don't think it's so strict that it filters out rooms that set the minimum to 13 if you've set the minimum to 1, if you understand. So... But I could always be wrong about that, I don't really know. There is a fucking bird outside that I'm going to go and strangle. No, strangling a bird. Well, it depends on the size of the bird. A small bird is not really something you can strangle because it doesn't have much of a neck, but if we're dealing with a big bird, yeah, you can strangle a bird. Again, password is... What's the ID? Oh, you filtered out passworded rooms. Jumping, geez. Well, no, you don't even need my hub ID, Juvenator. You're a friend on Nintendo Online, or whatever the fuck they call it. So I should appear in your friends list here, and you can just join that way. But I'll put the hub ID on the screen because maybe it automatically filters out passworded rooms. I've got no idea. All I can tell you is that this has not worked. Whatever the fuck has been going on here, it hasn't been working, so... Yeah. I just wasn't expecting people to be piling into the room so quickly. You have to understand. I got 2 people who were just hanging around, not watching the live stream turning up, and that's not really what I was expecting, but... Anyway... the password is 888. Oh, filter in passwords, that's easier. Password is 8882. Glad you found it. If you didn't catch it, order in the chat. But yeah. I'm happy to do the first hunt maybe with 3 people, but I'm going to remove the password once the 3 of us are in. Okay, that is Souls player because, well, you'd imagine that it would be anyway. We're going to take off the passcode none. That's just so that we can get everyone in here, because that was the issue we were having before. Because the room kept on filling up, it wasn't appearing in Souls players. I would rather call you Jonathan, to be completely honest, because calling you Souls player is actually starting to give me the shits, because it's so generic and that it's not even a name. So I'm going to call you Jonathan. I'm going to try to remember that. And if you don't want me to call you Jonathan, give me a better name than just a Souls player, because that's starting to drive me up the wall. I don't know why, but it's just wrong. It's just wrong. I'm actually surprised that updated as quickly as it did, because usually there's a bit of a delay on the hub settings being updated for other people. But yeah, this guy joined very quickly. Oh, look at him running to the... Yeah, sorry. Good night. I'm not even going to wait for you to post. Good night. Alright, let's just do a warm-up quest of some description. And then... as far as what that's going to be, I don't know, but we'll find something. We'll do Hyper Tigrex, that's a good warm-up. You can do what you like, Souls player, I'm just saying that I will refer to you in a different way to what your Twitch name is, because it's... I think that's... yeah, that's you. It's just easier than having to mess around with passwords and getting rooms filled up. I mean, it wasn't an issue in the past, but yeah, I'll just add you as a friend just to keep it easier. Haven't seen many people using this greatsword, and it's a reasonable one. It's 2 slot, 330 damage, well, at least the end damage here. Yeah. That's not too bad. Definitely see about getting the Toyohisa sword though. It's an even better raw greatsword. It's very nice. It's also the classic first gen experience with longsword as well. Can we fight something weak to thunder? That's what we're fighting, Juvenator. It just so happens that I posted Tigrex without even thinking of fighting something weak to thunder. Grimclaw EX. Which arena is the... well, what arena does the hunt take place in? Oh, it's not a tree, Souls player, it's a... the Toyohisa sword is an event weapon from one of the event Brachydios quests. It's the one that uses on-site items only, so you basically have to have an empty inventory and then use whatever is in the box that's provided for you. So it's also Hyper Brachydios, I think, so it's kind of an annoying quest, but it's not too bad because you do have item sets in this game, so it's pretty easy to fill up your inventory again after having removed everything. But yeah, great longsword. Excuse me, great sword. Just a bit of repeating terms there, and the reason why I said longsword is because it has a longsword weapon design, but it is a greatsword. In the Shagaru arena. Well, that's not too bad. I mean, that's big enough for me. I'm sorry about that bird. I can't really do anything about it. It's obviously got something to say, and quite frankly, I can't very well tell it to shut up. Yeah, I'm happy to do Grimclaw after this. Well, to be honest, we can do Grimclaw now, seeing as that we're waiting for a 4th person anyway. The reason why I'm waiting for a 4th person is because someone joined so quickly last time, so I'm expecting that we'll get another person fairly soon. But yeah, go post your Grimclaw and then I'll equip something appropriate for that. I'm going to override the wheel for this. We'll go Heavy Pierce. I usually override the wheel's decisions for EX monsters, and particularly difficult event monsters like Fatalis, for example. Like an event Fatalis is not something that I'm going to use an inappropriate weapon type with, so... Oh, the event quest that I just talked about. Oh, I see. Yeah, we can do that. So the event quest is... There are two that are quite similar. One is... well, I'll find it. So it's Drifter's Isle of Lost Souls. So, on-site items only. That bird outside is going to fucking die if it doesn't shut the hell up. Now, I don't know if on-site items only includes the gunner pouch. I think you just need an empty item pouch. Possibly. Hopefully. Let's see if Hyacinth, or Hyacinth, I don't know how to say his bloody name. Let's hope that he's willing to empty his inventory. Again, not too much of an inconvenience in this game, given that there are item sets, so, yeah. Yeah, it does seem that you're on a bit of a delay. Hey, Arexion, yeah, the bird is being especially disruptive. I mean, it's rare for me to have a really disruptive bird in the live stream. Like, usually, well, you guys can often hear my birds. Not like my birds, but the birds in my environment, yes. But they're not incessant in their disruptive noises, or in their disruptive noise making. But, yeah, this one is. Apparently, the on-site items only does not include the gunner pouch, which is reassuring. So you can bring whatever ammo you want in your gunner pouch if you are a gunner. So, that's good. It would be really awkward to be forced to take whatever ammo was in the box and nothing else, so... yeah. If that was going to be necessary, I would have actually changed to a Blade Master weapon. Of course, if it's typical for your ammunition to spill into the item pouch, then you would have to cull it a little bit for this quest. Like my EX skill set? I feel like Juvenator's always reporting to me. Oh yeah, Old Fatalis, huh? Where's Silver Bullet? Maybe GX Old Fatalis might not have Silver Bullet. Maybe it's only regular Old Fatalis. Is Silver Bullet even in the fucking game? That's a very good question. It might not even be in the game, because Honed Blade's not in the game. So if Honed Blade's not in the game, I guess Silver Bullet isn't either. That's very odd. Of course, Silver Bullet is the gunner version of Honed Blade. Basically gives you increased damage for all shot types. But that's kind of weird. What makes the White Fatalis set special then? Maybe it is in this game. Maybe Honed Blade is, once again, unique to Old Fatalis. I can't remember. I don't know. That's very strange that I'm having a mental blank over that. I don't know why I took a Farcaster. I really don't need one. And I don't really need paintballs, but here I am. Okay. So that's, I believe, a stack of 10 First Aid Med Plus for everyone. Which isn't much of a challenge. I mean, if you need more than that, then... well, maybe some people would, but... I wouldn't really call it a challenge. Can't remember where he starts. Is it Area 5 or Area 2 or something like that? Seem to remember fighting him in Area 2 a lot. I guess he starts in 5, yeah. There's a few birds going off at the moment. Oh, come to think of it, my fucking... oh, this is extremely frustrating. Let me fix this. My fucking... I must have had some background hum for this whole recording. There you go. I had to turn off my hard drive enclosure because it was causing hum. The hum is no longer there. But the bird is still fucking here. There's something weird about today. Today's a weird day. I can sense it in my waters. Oh. So this shouldn't be a very long hunt, because I do have a pretty good loadout for this. I didn't really need to stick with heavy bowgun, but you know what, I've already used hammer today, so the wheel can bugger off. I chose hammer without consulting the wheel, effectively, and the wheel chose hammer, so as far as I'm concerned, I've already done the hammer that the wheel chose for me. I've already used hammer, so therefore I'll again, my left analog stick is just garbage on this control. So it caused me to position myself a bit oddly. Don't like that fucking word, that's a terrible word. Position myself poorly would be more appropriate. Yeah, bugger off. You can see that even with Evade Extender, I'm really only just getting out of his way. So you can imagine what it would be like if I didn't have Evade Extender, right? I just don't understand why people would use heavy bowgun without Evade Extender unless they're using shield crouch fire. Or if they're fighting a monster that doesn't move very much at all. You know, there are different situations for different people, but and of course I'm not including Valor play. Valor style does not factor into what I've just said, because that's different. I don't play this game with styles, so I'm speaking strictly in terms of traditional monster under play. I just don't understand people who don't use Evade Extender with heavy bowgun. Because it's not just a matter of convenience, it's a matter of higher DPS on account of the fact that you're spending less time rolling away from a monster. Because you basically have to pre-roll if you don't have Evade Extender. You have to start rolling before the monster is even about to hit you, because you need to get the distance required to, or you need to distance yourself enough to clear the attack, which is only really possible by pre-rolling and, at the very least, rolling more than you would otherwise want to, if your focus is getting best possible DPS. How audible is that fucking bird, by the way? Because I'd like to know. If you can't really hear it, then that's great. But if you can really hear it, then I'm sorry. What bird? Good. That's good. There are a bunch of birds singing right now. It's not just one. I think there's one in particular that's very loud, but there is a group of them having a go. Can you fucking stop with this behaviour? Brachydios has just aimed for me 3 times in a row. You can maybe cut that 4 times in a row. This Brachydios has aimed for me. What's the deal with that? Seriously. I'll try to find an appropriate time to use Supernova, but I might load PS2 first, unless I go for it on his next attack. I probably shouldn't have done this, but we'll go for it anyway. No, that was good. Got all the damage off there. Not too bad at all. I usually try to save Supernova for a situation where it's basically guaranteed that I can make contact, because it's a pretty good hunter arc, damage-wise, I would imagine. So I'd very much like to actually get the damage off, instead of failing to do that. Thanks for the subscription, Tron. It's subscriber day today. It's the 3rd subscription so far. Thank you. Still going to be a while until I get my Twitch payout. You don't get a Twitch payout until you make $100 US, and I'm only halfway there at this stage, so yeah, but of course, I very much appreciate the support. That's what you happen. Yeah, right. You really can't let go of that "that's what you happen" thing, can you? No, it is what you happen, so. Yeah, donate now so I can get a payout. I'm only $50 US away. I mean, it's nothing. I just need two high rollers here. Two high rollers willing to pay $25 so that I can get a payout. Which I wouldn't encourage. It'll happen over time. And then the funny thing is, if you fail to make $100 US in 12 months, I think they revoke your affiliate status. Which, I mean, maybe that's fair, I don't know. Because the point of you getting affiliate is that you have an audience, I guess, and I think within 12 months, most streamers would get $100 US from their audience, but, you know, I guess Twitch is really not interested in maintaining affiliate status for those who don't make money, which I suppose makes sense. But I've made half of what I need in... well, it's probably been about 2.5 months since I actually got off my sorry ass and got affiliate status. The reason why it took me so long to actually enable affiliate status was because I wanted to multi-stream to YouTube. But once I let go of that desire to even stream to YouTube at all, I went and jumped on affiliate. So I just don't care about YouTube. There is no growth on YouTube. YouTube is a fucking wasteland. It is a wasteland, that place. Oof. Yeah, not a YouTube fan. Even though I still feel that I have some sort of loyalty to YouTube, even, well, considering that I've been on YouTube making videos there for 12 years, but at the end of the day, you have to recognize when they're not doing you any favors, and they're not doing me any favors, and admittedly they've never done me any favors. All they've done is ruin their platform slowly but surely on a consistent basis for the last decade, so yeah. If it weren't for the content creators, YouTube would be a complete shithole, because they can't meet the content creators halfway by making a good website. They actually can't. They seem to be physically impossible, or excuse me, they seem to be physically unable to do that. So, yeah. And it's only really the content creators who can truly see how broken the website is. Like, imagine a website that seems to be constantly in beta. Constantly. Like, all the functions of the website only work some of the time. And a lot of the time, something just doesn't work quite right. And that's basically the whole YouTube website for content creators. It's shocking. It's absolutely shocking. Considering that it's YouTube, one of the biggest websites on the internet. So it's really beyond my reckoning, but anyway. No, I never played StarCraft, Vernon. I remember when StarCraft came out, I thought it was kind of interesting that Blizzard was coming out with sort of a, I guess, a space-themed game, but no, it was different to what I was wanting to play at the time, and I never tried it. Don't have anything against it, but no, I never played it. You need to make a detailed my thoughts on the new Switch OLED video. Well, I don't have anything against the Switch OLED thing, but obviously the Switch Pro is what people need. Like, We're in the year 2021 and this thing can't play games at 60 FPS. It's fucking pathetic. So, yeah, I think it's time for a Switch Pro. And notice how they're talking about a 4K Switch. Forget 4K. Forget it! We don't need 4K. Nobody needs 4K. What everybody needs is 60 FPS on a fucking console. Like, that's just... It's basic. 60 FPS should have been the norm well over 10 years ago. Well over. But here we are in the year 2021, and we've got one of the best-selling consoles of this era unable to run games at 60 FPS, so I don't know. How old was I? Not very old. But some people started earlier than I did. How old was I? I didn't really play video games until 2006, and I was like 9 or something like that. Some people really grew up with video games. I didn't. I don't consider myself to have grown up with video games. So, yeah. 3 years old. Oh god. Starting with Mario Brothers. Yeah, well, I don't know if I'd introduce a 3-year-old to the rage of Super Mario Brothers. But, yeah. So we would need to do a few of those quests, but... and to actually get the Toyohisa sword fully upgraded, but looks like Hyacinth has taken it upon himself to go and choose the next quest, so... rightio. First of all, who's to say this is a turns room? It ends up being one, probably, but... who's to say that? And second of all, I chose the last quest, so what's he doing? Mind if I post one, he asks. Well... Juvenator, do you need anything? What? Hold the phone. StarCraft is older than I thought. I thought StarCraft came out in 2007, around that time. Like 2007, 2008. StarCraft must have started in an earlier form that I wasn't familiar with. StarCraft. Maybe it started off, it's sort of like how you had Warcraft, then World of Warcraft. That must have been, yeah. So, I was getting confused with the newer release of StarCraft that was in the mid-2000s. Unless I misunderstood and it wasn't a re-release. StarCraft. Trying to see. Maybe it was an expansion that released when I... let's have a look. It wasn't StarCraft 2. Interesting. Okay, well I hadn't actually noticed. I wasn't aware of StarCraft until I saw it in a game store in the mid-2000s sometime. So, that would be incorrect for me to say that I was there for its release. That's how I perceived it at the time, because I hadn't seen it prior to that point. So, excuse me. No, definitely not the remastered re-release, because that seems to be a more recent thing. Unless... look, if the remastered version of StarCraft was in the mid-2000s, then that is what I saw. But, all I can say is that in the game store, in the PC section, StarCraft was marketed, at least through its box art, as being a very, very modern 3D game. Because it had, you know, the shot of the guy with his space helmet on or whatever the fuck was going on, so I assumed that it was something on par with, you know, World of Warcraft, given that it was a Blizzard game. But, the remastered version came out in 2017. Oh, it's only 10 years after the time when I would have actually seen it in stores. Just a slight discrepancy. So, hold on, what is... what's happening with Juvenator? Is he... oh, he did post something, okay. Marshland Fandango. Well, I'm gonna leave my... my gaming experience in the capable hands of the weapon selection roulette, which is... oh, it's given me hunting horn, thank you. That, I don't know what it is, but that's, That wheel seems to look after me fairly well. It's rare that the wheel will select a weapon type that is just absolutely inappropriate for the quest that I'm doing. For instance, I'd be very annoyed if I got Sword and Shield for a Gravios hunt, but no, Hunting Horn is perfectly fine. I'm happy with that, because I'll be spending a lot of time playing songs anyway. Those birds are still fucking going. Are you sure you guys can't hear those birds? I hope not. But anyway, the way StarCraft was marketed in the mid-2000s made it look like a more modern game than it actually was. This is assuming that it didn't receive a remaster in the mid-2000s, which it seems that it didn't. So, you know, it just had very modern-looking box art, but I guess that's just Blizzard marketing for you. And because the Blizzard games that I was familiar with at that time were Warcraft and World of Warcraft, I assumed that given that, you know, you had this modern box art that they had, that StarCraft was indeed a modern 3D game of some kind. So, that's good to know. Because graphics of 1998 compared to the graphics of, you know, 2005 to 2007, not very good. Not very good. Okay, what the hell am I equipping? I'm equipping a Hunting Horn. It will be a Water Hunting Horn. Twin Shell Castanet. I apologise for taking so long. Am I getting stories too? Not immediately. I'll probably get it on PC, but I might play the demo in the meantime here on the Switch, but no, I'm definitely not getting it on Switch if that was the question. Maybe I shouldn't take the time to look for Exchanger after I've taken this much time to get to this point. Oh, well. Why the hell not? Vernon's online, apparently. Well, if the birds are barely audible, then that's good enough. Because what that means is that I'm drawing your attention to them, and as a result they are audible. So that's a good thing. It means that they're not sort of distracting you terribly. Alright, off we go. Juvenator says that Stories 2 is so much better than Rise. It's so much better because it plays like a spin-off, and it is a spin-off. Rise isn't a spin-off. Seems to be common opinion that World's better than Rise, though. I think there was some sort of Twitter poll recently that resulted in, well, shows how much these people know. Generations Ultimate came third in a poll with 3 options. Went World, Rise, and then Generations Ultimate. So, you know, based on that, I don't really think it's that much of a valid opinion. But I would say that it does show that people don't like the direction Rise has gone in. But you know what? I wouldn't trust those people either, because they might think Rise is worse for very shallow reasons, such as, you know, how the game looks, the frame rate, things like that. People were complaining about World having lacking content when that came out as well. I mean, it was no different. So people might be saying, oh, Rise is so boring, there's nothing to do. Well, that's exactly what World was. People were complaining about that in World. So, yeah. That's not something that Rise is having a problem with that is in any way different to that of World, because World was exactly that way. Oh, there's 2 people on fucking Hunting Horn. This is insanity. We both just encored the same song. So, I didn't realise that Hyacinth was using Hunting Horn. That's kind of ridiculous. I wonder if we're using the same Hunting Horn. It's possible. What's he got? Oh no, he's still using the Grimclaw. Well, that's kind of annoying. More than kind of annoying. Let me see my songs. I've got Defense Boost. I don't know if he's got Defense Boost. I don't know what the songs of the... Wait, hold on. Oh, I see the confusion. I'm used to blue notes being the X and A. But yeah, I don't know what the songs of the Grimclaw Hunting Horn are, but he hasn't started playing Defense Up yet, so I'll do it. Obviously wasn't enough to help him. My condolences, I suppose. See, I couldn't even get out of the way of that. That's crazy. Yeah, today's a weird day for me. Weird stream. I'm in a weird mood. I'm actually on the edge of being furious for some reason. Do you ever have those days where you feel like enraged for no reason at all? That's me today. Don't know why. But anyway. Gonna aim for that chest. Oh, should I aim for the head for the KO? Oh, maybe I should. Oh yeah, that's true. Beans has recently picked up Generations Ultimate. Tell us how you feel, Beans, and also if there's anything that you don't understand, something that you'd like to clarify, just ask. And we'll give you a hand with that, because I would imagine that there is certainly a learning curve of some description when going backwards through generations from 5th gen to 4th gen. Yeah, just, look, it's normal to be pissed off with Dark Souls, Vernon. I mean, that's kind of how it is. When you're going through it for the first time, it will piss you off, because the way that you learn is through failure. So if failure pisses you off, and you need to learn how to play before you can succeed, you are basically going to be pissed off your first time playing through. So, yeah. What I'd recommend is getting into the habit of just being extra careful. You know, the way you were playing there was very aggressive, very, I'm just going to run in there and mash these guys to death and not give a fuck. You know, just take it a little slower than that. Particularly if it's an area that you're not familiar with. I realized that you were familiar with that area, so maybe you felt more confident in just running in and doing whatever, but going forward, definitely take it nice and slow. Because that's how you prevent failure. And sometimes I don't even follow that advice, you know, sometimes I play very aggressively as well, but consequently I get a good slap on the wrist from the game. And it reminds me, oh yeah, I'm playing Dark Souls, even though I have developed a subconscious skill set. I still need to at times be careful with what I'm doing because the game will punish me from time to time. Happens to me a lot, actually. There's a bit of a fart going on over there on the part of the Congolana. Or the Conga, excuse me. I almost never refer to those Congas as Congas, I usually just call them the pink monkeys, so when I went to say Conga, my lips, all on their own, formed the words Congolana, so what can I say? Yeah, I mean, that's absolutely true, Beans. Not sure what you mean by tripping every few seconds, but definitely what your sentiment about the content being overwhelming, so you just focus on the hunting experience, that's understandable, because again, going from 5th generation to this, it's a different world. It's a different experience in terms of content, because there is so much in this game that, as far as I'm concerned, Rise and World combined are less content than this game. Now, I can't say that with any great authority because I've never played Iceborne. I have not seen how much content there is in Iceborne to add on to the original world content, but I'd say that's a fair guess. Purely by virtue of the fact that there is not much going on in Rise, so yeah. I would say that that's probably correct. Generations Ultimate is probably going to be the largest Monster Hunter game for a long, long time. I think the only way that they can make a bigger game than this is to have like a reboot of sorts for Monster Hunter Frontier and then have cumulative updates to make it a really, really big game. I think that's the only way they can do it. I'd say Frontier is a bigger game than this, but I guess what I was meaning to say was have a mainline iteration in the series along the lines of Frontier. But I don't think they'd do that. I think it would obviously still be a spin-off if they brought Frontier back. But yeah, I've said this before, but I really, really didn't like Frontier after the 2011 update, which turned it into an ultra anime styles-based shitfest. But I'd still prefer that over 5th gen, so there is part of me that really longs for the Frontier experience because it still feels like, I don't know, it still feels like the same spirit of Monster Hunter that attracted people who played the older games. Because I don't feel like 5th gen is designed for me, or even for the people who enjoyed Generations 1 through 4. It just doesn't feel that way. It doesn't feel like we've been the target. So, as a result, I do feel very out of sorts when I play 5th gen. I feel like an outsider looking in. I feel like a guest. And maybe that's unreasonable to some people, I'm not sure, but... And of course that's not to suggest that people who enjoy Generations 1 through 4 can't enjoy 5th generation, but as far as I'm concerned, it's against all the odds if they like it, because it's not designed for people who, well, let me put it this way, I feel that it was designed for people who wouldn't have played the older games. Specifically, that's what they were aiming for. They were like, what repelled people in the past? Let's accommodate those people. Now, the result is going to be a different game. And that's exactly what it is. And, yeah, it is what it is. Now, there are certain things that repelled people in the past that could have been addressed without completely rebooting the fucking series, which is basically what World was as far as I'm concerned. But, yeah, and they made attempts to do that. They tried to involve more story with Monster Hunter 4 and, you know, have a story that wasn't just, oh no, there's a monster attacking the village, help. They sort of added a bit more of a dimension to it through the cutscenes, but even then, like, I don't know. Apparently that wasn't good enough. But again, you just have to sit there and realize, well, it's a niche, isn't it? But Capcom weren't interested in that. They weren't interested in a niche. They were interested in accessing as many people as they could. Must have been a rather high-level initiative that came down to say, Monster Hunter is not going to be for the niche anymore. It is, we are going to bring this into the world of mainstream console gaming. It will be a AAA title, and we're going to do that. Of course, as I said, Rise was initially intended to be for the people who had been left behind by World, but they were so tainted by the success of World that they just couldn't help themselves, so Rise is basically World, but even more extreme in the streamlined direction. As far as Grimclaw G5, I would rather not, but sure. I suppose this guy was ignored before when he asked if he could post a quest, so he may as well post one now. Lightboga. You know what? Thanks, Wheel. In keeping with what I said before, it's selecting good weapons, so I'll bring Light Pierce this time. Well, again, Vernon, the fact that you were hoping that it would address issues with World, but in fact made it worse, what that indicates is that Rise is not designed for us. It's not designed for us. They have no interest in the original Monster Hunter community. They can pretend that they care, but they don't, really. They really don't. They don't bring back the old monsters because they care about us. They bring them back because we ask for it, and it's convenient for them because they don't have the creativity to make new monsters. Or at least not enough to have a full monster lineup. That's what I see. But having said that, the Rise monsters, the ones that were first brought into Rise, are pretty good. I don't mind them at all. I think they're pretty good. But in the end, I don't think that's a head nod to older players. I don't think it's that at all. Opinions regarding combat in 5th gen. In World, most of the weapons were improved upon. Definitely. That's one of the positives about World. Weapons were, in a lot of ways, improved upon. I liked the change to bow. I didn't like how bowguns changed, personally. The way old bowgun was, that was basically the exception to what I just said. In terms of how I felt while playing World, I felt like the bowguns just... I didn't like how the bullets travelled so fucking slowly. I didn't like how, in my entire experience of playing World, I didn't have the option to aim down my sights. I had to hip fire. Apparently in Iceborne they gave you an attachment that would allow you to aim down your sights, but as far as I'm concerned, that's inappropriate because naturally to have an attachment to aim down your sights, you would have to therefore forego things like close range ARP, attack boost, or whatever the hell the attachments are. I can't remember now. I don't think they're even called attachments. I can't think of the terminology now because it's been so long since I've played World, but you know what I mean when I say that. The point is that I don't want to have to be put in a position where I need to compromise the damage of my weapon just so that I can have the functionality of old, which was to aim down the side of the bowgun as I'm doing right now. It's a matter of accuracy. I feel more accurate when I aim down the sight, and because the bullets travel faster here, I also feel more accurate in that regard. I enjoyed the way bow changed though. I thought bow was an alright change, even though it was quite different to what it was, and I enjoy the way it was, you know. This is coming from someone who very much enjoys the experience of traditional bow. But I could appreciate the experience of new bow, because it really, the way they changed it was to make it so that you're using the triggers to attack with the weapon, and it felt right. It's like it always should have been, but it just so happened that the original system felt comfortable for me too. So, I don't know. They started going backwards with the weapons in Rise though, because they actually couldn't keep... Whoops, I didn't mean to do bullet guys, oh shit. They couldn't keep their hands off the weapons in the interest of simplifying the game for people. So, dual blades moves much faster in demonized mode, which ruins the balance of dual blades. Because the whole idea is that you're supposed to be less mobile in demonized mode. There goes Hyacinth again. It's probably synth, you know. Fuck off with your combo. Look at what's going on here. What was I supposed to do in that situation? That's 3 attacks in a row aimed at a gunner. What am I supposed to do in that situation? Especially considering that after the second attack, I was fucking stunned. There's nothing for me to do in that situation except to die. What a joke. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, so Dual Blades was ruined. Maybe not ruined, but made too simple. Too easy to succeed with it. The way Dual Blades were in World was perfectly fine. There was absolutely no reason whatsoever for it to be changed in the way that it was. Hunting Horn was completely ruined. Like, actually completely ruined. Trivialized to the extent where there is no real thought process behind playing the songs. You just play one of each note, then press R and win. That is basically Hunting Horn. It was simplified in this way because Capcom decided that not enough people were using Hunting Horn. As if it's for them to decide how a person or how a community should use a weapon. If a weapon is very specialized, that doesn't mean that it's been designed wrong. That's one of the reasons why I don't have much respect for Capcom's outlook when it comes to Rise and the changes that were implemented. The mere perspective that if not enough people are using it, then something's wrong with it, or that it should be changed so that more people are comfortable with using it, completely ignores the preferences of those who enjoyed it in the first place. It completely ignores the fact that it was tailored for a specific type of gamer, and then when you change it for the benefit of more people, those original hunting horn users become completely disenfranchised and are basically left behind because the weapon has been, the balls of the weapon have been cut off. And Capcom doesn't care because all they want is for more people to, again, it's just supporting the casuals. Now, I'm not a huge hunting horn fan myself, but I can see why hunting horn would appeal to specific types of people. Now, in the case of Insect Glaive, as I understand it, Kinsects were simplified to the extent where you just fucking buy them now. I don't even think you feed them, do you? I didn't really look into it, but the Kinsect system's been terribly simplified. Long story short, the whole situation with Rise is the systematic and very, very thorough simplification of the Monster Hunter formula in every regard for the benefit of casuals. And that is not what Monster Hunter is. Monster Hunter was never a casuals game. This is not a game for casual players for the reason that you must learn how to play in order to enjoy it. But guess what? That doesn't work in the mainstream space, because in the mainstream space you will have lots of casuals who do not want to allocate the time to learn how to play in order to succeed. They don't want to have to spend time learning how to use a new weapon type. That's what... because if you think about it, if people aren't using lots of different weapon types, then there's more potential for them to lose interest, right? If they're using the same weapon type constantly, maybe they'll lose interest faster. So if they make it so that everyone can very easily branch out into multiple different weapon types, then there's more chance for larger numbers of people to maintain interest, right? Well, this is what happens to your game when you become so focused on appealing to those who would otherwise not be able to handle the Monster Hunter formula. Consequently, the formula is drastically altered, and then you've got a game which is, in my opinion, complete shit. But that's apparently elitism, you see. I could sit here and explain my position all day, literally all day, and someone could just say, oh, you're an elitist, you're a gatekeeper, or whatever the fuck people would say, because they don't like that I have a different opinion or whatever, but, you know, it is what it is. Apparently, ARMO is a derogatory term because it's been held by review, or held for review by Twitch, so I don't know what the fuck that means, but apparently you can't call people simps, so whatever ARMO is, I don't think it's very offensive. And if it is offensive, then it's probably offensive to maybe 10 people in the world. So, yeah, whatever. Maybe it's for Armenian or something. You call Armenian people Armos, you're an Armo, mate. It's like, okay, well. It was, the reason why it was said, of course, was because it was a typo, but anyway. It's supposed to be armor. Vernon describes the change to the Kinsect system in Rise as horrifying. That's right, Beans. So, armor skills are, well, basically, the best way to look at it is like this. You can see that that yellow line there is for all skills that reach a minimum of 10. So it's a skill point system. This is how it's always been in Monster Hunter. It was done away with in World. So you can see Spirit. We've got 8 plus 5 plus 2 for a total of 15. Now, your thresholds are 10. They're basically multiples of 5 starting with 10 for your skill activation thresholds. So 10 will be level 1, 15's level 2, 20's level 3. And in the past you had 30 for level 4, but that's a separate matter because it doesn't relate to this game. But yeah, not all skills will have that many levels, you know, it depends on the skill. A level 1 skill, of course, will be at 10 points. And then a level 2 skill, it's never going to change, basically. You always have to check the skill to see how many levels it has. But the point is that a level 2 skill will always max out at 15 points, regardless of what kind of skill it is. That doesn't change. That's like a universal rule. What do you mean high level per piece? Not sure what you mean. Whoa, okay, well that was a fail hunt. Again, I don't really care that we failed because in the end, my death was dumb. It was a very unfair combo on the part of the Barioth, and you know, a triple stun combo when you are bow gunning is not something you can avoid. Now, if I was using Adept, yeah, no problem, but anyway. Right. Well, I see that they've overhauled the Kinsect system, Vernon, and I wouldn't go so far as to say that it's horrifying, because I haven't tried it yet. It might be alright. You know, I'm not going to write it off purely on the basis that, you have to buy the Kinsects, because it seems that through determining Kinsect level based on the level of the glaive, or Kinsect damage based on the level of the glaive, then maybe it's not too terribly simplified, but still, I don't really... it doesn't sound like a better version of the Kinsect to me. Doesn't sound like it, so... And again, it's designed for the benefit of those who previously couldn't be bothered leveling up a Kinsect. You know, you had to work to level up your Kinsect. And of course the perspective of Capcom is that people have to do, or should, do less work for more. That's basically Rise in a nutshell. It's how can we give people more of an experience for less work? And this is what I said. This is what I said on the second day of Rise's release. I said that the philosophy. This is paraphrasing. I said that the philosophy of we need to give people more for less work is in direct violation of the essence and formula of Monster Hunter, and to walk away from it is to walk away from what made Monster Hunter special originally. So, you know, that was the niche. The niche was people who like RPG games and want to work to succeed. And it's not that anymore. So if it's not that, what is it? It's something I don't want to play. So, and to support it, in my opinion, is to support the death of the series. Yeah, Beans definitely get some help from Souls Player because he's in the same boat as you. I can only help so much because I didn't go backwards. I've gone from 2nd gen up to this point. The only game that I had to go backwards with, or the only generation that I had to go backwards with, was 1st. I had to go from 2nd to 1st, which wasn't too bad. I mean, it was rough because 1st is absolutely messy, terribly messy. But yeah, going from 5th to 4th, I can't imagine what would confuse you at the end of the day. You know, I can imagine how different it is, but in terms of how confused you would be or what you would need to know, what you'd need extra time to understand, I wouldn't really know. But Souls Player, because he's in the same boat as you as far as going from 5th to 4th, would be able to communicate it to you in a way that you'd understand more easily, most likely, because he would he'd know what to focus on in terms of explanations. So, but yeah, in terms of specific questions, yeah, I can answer those, but overall, I wouldn't really know where to start. No, I'm not doing hammer again. Sorry, wheel. But it's not happening. Oh, gun lance. Thought I was going to get lance there. The wheel was moving kind of fast. Well, gearing up in 5th generation is completely... there's no thought behind it. There's a little bit of thought, but not much at all. World and 5th gen as a whole did away with negative skills. There are no negative skills, so I suppose I should have mentioned that as well. There is a negative version of some skills, not all skills. You can see that all of these, see how these are all coming up as blue? There is a list of blue skills here. See this red skill? If I get negative 10 points, I'll get evasion down. Now, usually you'll only get negative points when you're using a full armor set. You can technically get negative points without using a full armor set. In other words, you know, all pieces being of the same set. Because you might just happen to get as many as 10 points in the same skill, or you get as many as 10 points in the negative for the same skill with using mixed armor pieces, but it's less likely. Generally speaking, yes, it would be a full armor set, and then you would have to gem that out. That's one of the negative aspects to using a full armor set in Monster Hunter, is the fact that you will have to dedicate some of your armor slots that you have in your full set to gemming out a negative skill. So, yeah. And, of course, some skills have negatives, some don't, and some have 2 levels of negative skill. Some have negative 15. But there you go, there's an example. Recoil has a negative skill all the way up to negative 20. You can have recoil down minus 3. I mean, I don't even know how it would be possible to accidentally have recoil down minus 3. I don't think it's possible to accidentally do that. I think you'd have to do that intentionally. But yeah, you can also have health negative 30. And these skills are coming up here because I have points in these skills. The only ones that are activated are the ones above this yellow line. You can see I have 2 points in Tenderizer, which is weakness exploit, and I have negative points in chain crit, recoil, and health. And these negative skills, I've got negative 1 from the talisman, so it's a pierce up talisman. I think I've got slots in the talisman. Yeah, so it's a +6 pierce up with negative 1 chain crit, which results in negative 1 overall for the set in chain crit, which does nothing, of course, because it needs to be as high as negative 10 to actually, or as low as a negative 10, I guess, to give me a negative skill. But in the case of chain crit, you can see there is no negative skill, so it wouldn't actually give me a negative skill, irrespective of how many negative points I had. Recoil, on the other hand, you can see that I've got negative 2 also from the talisman, but in this case, and this is where it gets a little bit confusing, there is no negative skill on the talisman innately, but there is a negative from the decoration. So if I check this decoration, you can see that it has 4 points for pierce up, but negative 2 for recoil. So because that decoration is on the talisman, it shows as the negative 2 for recoil coming from the talisman. This is where things get confusing. So I would doubt that Harry is from the stream. Why has he posted a high rank fucking deviant? No. We're not doing Thunderlord 2, guys. This is not happening. I'm not doing a high rank capture quest with an almost... No, with an actual full G rank team. There's no way in hell. I'm not doing that crap. I will change weapons because I've got... Harry said let's go. Mate, I'm not doing a fucking high rank deviant. You've got to be joking. Alright, so gun lance, and I will just use this gun lance here. What do you mean? Yeah, he's not from the stream. I'm assuming that people would make themselves known if they're from the stream. Let's go, and I'm just going to post a quest. We'll just do What would be fun? This quest is annoying. It's actually longer than you might think, because you have to wait for them to spawn. It's actually freaking frustrating. Let's do Hyper Baroth. How about that? Hyper Baroth is interesting. Check out Doomlink live on Twitch. Well, I've got Jonathan taking care of the advertising for me, which is nice. Do Hyper Nursilla, yeah. Well, I suppose I haven't done Nursilla very much in this game at all. Yeah, that's right, Beans. So you don't have to worry about negative skill points unless you reach the -10 threshold. It's the same as +10 for a positive skill. You don't need to be afraid of negative skill points. You just have to be aware that if you get too many in the same skill, that does become a problem. But as I said, depending on the skill, it might not even be a problem at all. But generally speaking, Harry didn't really care so much to stay because he couldn't do his Thunderlord 2. Fucking loser. Anyway, I probably won't wait for a 4th in this case. So, what I will say is that negative skills are not really something you have to worry too much about. You're not going to be plagued by negative skills. It's not this incredible learning curve to avoid getting negative skills in armor sets. It's just something to be aware of, and you'll work it out. Like, it's not complicated at all. So, provided you're at least kind of aware of it, you should be able to avoid it. At this stage, what I'd recommend for you is not to bother with mixed sets, because that gets a little bit confusing. Mixed sets I mean, that's the reason why the skill system changed in the way it did. It wasn't just to remove negative skills, it was also to make it easier for people to make mixed sets. Because making a mixed set in a points-based skill system is very, very complicated. Unless you have a system like Athena's armor set search to do it for you. Capcom wanted to make it so that everyone could make mixed sets without difficulty, by having it be that all armor pieces have skills on them already that are activated. So, you know, we're talking about 4 generations of Monster Hunter, almost 15 years of Monster Hunter, with a particular way of doing things with skills, and then they decided, well, let's change it. Why did they do that? It's because they started making it for different people. They started making the series, they started making Monster Hunter for different people. It's not like they did it wrong and then suddenly realized, oh, we were doing it wrong for 15 years. No. That's not how it was at all. It's just, there's a certain degree of complexity to the system that would repel a casual, or repel a person who isn't willing to learn in order to enjoy themselves. So, yeah, it is what it is. And I have a lot of respect for people who go backwards, you know. It's very hard to basically what you're dealing with when going from 5th gen backwards is you've grown up having your ass wiped for you, and then suddenly you have to, of your own volition, teach yourself how to wipe your own asshole. That's basically what it is. And for that reason, I don't say that to put down people who started in 5th gen. I mean that in the opposite regard. I mean that to say, you don't even really have to teach yourself how to wipe your own ass, because someone's already wiping it for you. You know, some people had to learn how to wipe their own ass, and then they were given the convenience of having their ass wiped for them. But you're actually taking it upon yourself to learn how to wipe your own ass. So that's actually something to be proud of, I think. That's basically what's going on with 5th gen. So, yeah. Yeah, Black X is pretty good for Greatsword in high rank. Well, that would be Black S, I believe, for high rank. I think he's still in high rank, isn't he? I used Black S back in Generations. Oops. Oh. Ouch. I don't like talking about World too much and 5th gen, but it's topical, isn't it? I've got 2 people watching right now who are coming from 5th gen into 4th, so I do need to relate things to 5th. So, it is what it is. How much of Freedom Unite have you played, Souls player? Or Jonathan, I don't know. Freedom Unite is the oldest game a lot of Monster players have played. Or let me rephrase that. The vast majority of people in the Monster series will not play a game older than Freedom Unite. For the reason that the 2nd gen games outside of Freedom Unite aren't worth playing. First and foremost, Freedom 2 is just a high ranked version of Freedom Unite. It's for the same reason that you wouldn't play Generations instead of Generations Ultimate. And in the case of Monster Hunter 2 DOS, it's only on the PS2, and the English translation is bad, and you can't really access the online, so yeah, the 2nd gen experience outside of Freedom Unite is not all that great. I mean, DOS is a fine game, I think, but it's not easy to play. That's my point. And 1st gen is so not friendly. It is 1st gen is the ultimate unfriendly game. It's like 1st gen doesn't want you to play it, really. It's like they want nothing more than for you to just walk away and actually enjoy yourself with some other game. But I persevered, and now I can actually get some enjoyment out of 1st gen. Seriously, like, I enjoy 1st gen. There was a period of time where I just absolutely hated every moment of it. And it was just straight up bad, and it kind of is straight up bad. It's not about learning to appreciate it, it's about developing a tolerance that allows you to find some enjoyment. You know, there is a distinct difference between those two things. You need to develop an incredibly thick skin for 1st gen. I'm very glad to hear that, Arexion. I'm glad that you're enjoying Freedom 1. That's very encouraging to hear. What sort of, have you come across how annoying the camera is? About how, wall collision is just terrible. If you're up against a wall, the camera just shits itself. Has that been annoying for you, or are you just taking it on board and just putting up with it? I mean, even if you're enjoying Freedom 1 at the moment, Arexion, you can probably see that there is a lot to tolerate. There is a lot to just put up with. And I can tell you now that you are a unique type of person, because most people in your position would not be able to tolerate 1st gen. Like, they just wouldn't. If their first experience was a newer Monster Hunter game and they went to 1st gen, they would not be able to get any enjoyment out of it at all, because it's just so fucking broken. But I'm glad that you're getting some enjoyment out of it. It's more than what I could say when I was starting with it. It was pure misery when I started. And I came from 2nd. 2nd generation was my first Monster Hunter. And 1st generation was pure misery for me. So, yeah. That should give people an idea. Yeah, feel free to just go backwards from 5th, Jonathan, because Freedom Unite is something that I would definitely recommend that you play, but it's not necessarily a priority. I'd say that the priority is for you to enjoy yourself, and I think you'd have more fun going back from Generation 4. What I would say is that a person should do one of two things. Either they go back sequentially from 5th to 1st, or they go from 1st to 5th, or 1st to 4th if they started in 5th. But I would not recommend the latter to your average person. On a whim, I recommended that Arexian would do that, and he's enjoying it, which is great. So, that's good. Happy to hear that. Might do Dragon Blast, seeing as though I've had it charged for a while. It's so refreshing to find a Baroth that can actually survive for so long against a G-rank team. That's why I like Hyper Baroth. What I will say, Arexian, is that if you play Monster Hunter 1 and Monster Hunter G, you'll find that it's even more messy than Freedom 1. But yep, I would absolutely recommend that if you're enjoying Freedom 1, explore all of 1st gen. But consider whether or not you want to actually play on PS2. Because if you emulate, you'll be able to go online much more easily with the private servers, and we can play together. So, just think about it. If you'd rather have your first experience on the PS2, then go for it, but I'd recommend in the future at least, building a character on the emulated version of Monster Hunter 1. Specifically the Japanese version. If you play Monster Hunter 1 on the emulator, absolutely play the Japanese version, because there is a full translation for that that's just as good as the official English translation. It's quite professionally done. And the reason why I say that is because you will be able to move that save over to Monster Hunter G, which is a Japanese-only game. It is the G-rank expansion to the original Monster Hunter, which you absolutely want to do. And I would feel for you if you were to put a lot of time into the US or European version of Monster Hunter 1, only to not be able to migrate that to Monster Hunter G. So. Oh, you play Freedom Unite on your phone, Jonathan. Well, that makes sense. I'll never forget them announcing Freedom Unite coming to iOS. I was very confused. I was like, what? Why Freedom Unite? That was very weird. I guess because it was such a... By the time it came out on iOS, it was a fairly old game. So it was easy for phones to run it, so they thought, well, why not? Let's just... How much does it cost, actually? Because I guess they decided that they'd be able to make some money off it. But, yeah, I don't know. I guess it's on the Android store as well, but... It was mentioned that it came out on iOS. It might not be on the Google Play Store or whatever they call it. It used to be the Android store, didn't it? And then it became the Google Play Store or something like that. Anyway. Might actually try to do a Wyvern Fire while I'm in the orange here. Can you fuck off, you Cephalos bastard? He's hit me 3 times in the space of, like, 4 seconds. Bastard creature. I don't think I'm going to be able to do that Wyvern Fire. You can see that I'm just not Wyvern Firing with Gunlance in this game. It's because I can't bring myself to Wyvern Fire in the yellow. I just can't do it. This Baroth has survived for quite a while, by the way. He's definitely been alive for a little while. Haven't seen Juvenator's song playing. Don't know if it's alright or not, but... Trying to get myself into the orange properly. Whoa! Taking a lot of damage here. I kept my weapon out just so that I could shield if need be. I'm not going to risk dying or anything like that. Not very interested in that. Because then that would be quest failure. You definitely don't need to be failing a Baroth quest. That would be all kinds of bad. Oh, they removed Freedom Unite from the store. Why would they do that? Why would they come out with it only to remove it? Did they not want people playing an old Monster Hunter game now that 5th gen's out? Because I remember Freedom Unite came out before World came out, but it was only like a year before. Like a year or two before World came out that Freedom Unite was put on the store. So... when I said Freedom Unite came out, I meant came out on mobile devices. Well, that explains why not many people are playing on iOS anymore. Most people are just emulating it with PPSSPP on their phones, rather than playing the official mobile version. I suppose the reason why is because it was removed from the store. Again, why they did that I couldn't say. Seems kind of pointless. Alright, I don't know where Baroth has gone, but we're gonna find him. I remember having to get on some shady-looking Japanese website to join hubs. Well, welcome to the world of ad hoc. That's how it used to be. You used to have to... well, it was never in-game. There was no in-game support for online play, so you would have to use something else to connect to other people. And then that would connect to your PSP. Usually people either used X-Link Kai or Ad Hoc Party. Ad Hoc Party was for the people who owned a PS3. It was basically something that you downloaded onto your PS3 and then you would basically have a room system. It was fairly nicely designed, visually. X-Link Kai was very, very, like, just basic in its design, whereas Ad Hoc Party had a really nice graphical user interface. It was animated and the whole thing. It was like a game on its own. But X-Link Kai, from memory, was just a basic executable file with, like, a white window and just a bunch of options. So I didn't really use X-Link Kai. I think I might have used it once ever. I mostly used Ad Hoc Party because I had a PS3. And there are a lot of Japanese players on Ad Hoc Party. So play with them quite a bit. I don't think I'm going to manage this. Nope. Messed that up. 15 minutes. Wow. It's one of those days, huh? One of those days. I've been playing a bit of Morrowind over the last few days. Probably going to play some after this recording, actually. I'm in a bit of a Morrowind mood at the moment. I like most games that I've played for a long time, I have very long hiatus periods for games like Morrowind and Oblivion and Daggerfall. Wow. Like 6-year hiatus periods, you know. But, yeah. Back into Morrowind these days, which is nice. Currently on a level 30 spellsword character. You were so confused as to how to play Oblivion. That's funny because Oblivion was the first game to really simplify things. Oblivion was the first game to really move into action games. So Morrowind was in this awkward position where it was modern 3D graphics but trying to use traditional RPG mechanics. Traditional RPG mechanics don't really work with a 3D game for the reason that it involves dice rolls when hitting enemies. The idea being that you have a percentage of a chance to successfully hit an enemy, which doesn't work when you can actually watch your sword swing through the fucking enemy. It's just dumb. So Morrowind was the last game to really do that. By the time you were getting into Morrowind, this is referring to the Elder Scrolls series, I'm sure there are other RPGs that had dice roll based mechanics in the early to mid 2000s, but yeah. Oblivion was the first Elder Scrolls game to really walk away from RPG mechanics, because they deemed that a departure from RPG mechanics was necessary for 3D graphics, like modern 3D graphics. So basically there was no need to charge up an attack or anything like that. You just click the mouse button and you swing a new weapon. You can swing it really fast. It always hits the enemy. And, you know, it was a simplification of the original system. So it's interesting that the simplification, or the simplified version of traditional Elder Scrolls, is what confused you. I can't imagine how it would have been if you played Arena Daggerfall or Morrowind. I've got my Morrowind guidebook somewhere. Nowhere nearby. It's behind my green screen, actually. I think the last time I pulled out my Morrowind guidebook was when I was fighting Thunderblight Ganon in my Breath of the Wild Let's Play. And I was drinking brandy and I had my Morrowind guidebook, and I was saying, I was going, it just works, or something like that. You know, referencing Todd Howard. It was weird. I think I wasn't able to develop a strategy for the fight, so I was trying to do something that just worked, so I was trying to call upon the powers of Todd Howard using my Morrowind guidebook. It was weird. It was a weird recording. I don't think any of the people who watched that actually still watch me, to be honest. That was a pretty active chat, that Breath of the Wild recording, but yeah. Alright. Yeah, if you're really young, I suppose that makes sense. Yeah, Oblivion is basically the reason why Skyrim is the way that it is. Oblivion was the start of the simplification of Elder Scrolls, and I'm kind of scared to see where Elder Scrolls 6 goes. Further and further away from the traditional RPG formula is basically the destiny of Elder Scrolls, but I don't know how much further away from it can go after Skyrim. I don't really want to see that. But whatever. I think Juvenator's posting something. Let's see what our next weapon will be. No, not doing it. Sorry. It's not happening. I've had enough hammer today. You're so funny, aren't you? You really are a fucking character. Wheel. Light bowgun. Give me a break. Okay, I'm happy to do light bowgun, I guess, but I kind of wanted something that I hadn't used today. Whatever. I'll probably use an elemental light bowgun. Yeah, Fallout 76 was a bit of a shit show. Look, Fallout 76 would be your best bet for working out how Elder Scrolls 6 would be, because Fallout has always followed the Elder Scrolls game that it was released alongside of. The idea being that, you know, I think it was Fallout 3 was Oblivion with guns, and Fallout 4 was Skyrim with guns, basically. Because it used the same system, same engine, I should say. And yeah, so the only reason why we didn't have Elder Scrolls 6 is because they were so... Well, I don't think they were focused on Elder Scrolls Online, were they? That's a different arm of ZeniMax Media. Or is it Bethesda Softworks that does Elder Scrolls Online? I can't remember anymore. Because you've got Bethesda Softworks, And there's all owned by ZeniMax Media, but there's like also a team that goes by the name ZeniMax Media, or ZeniMax something, I don't fucking know. It's confusing. I used to know, but I don't anymore. Because it's not very interesting. And I don't keep track of Elder Scrolls stuff these days. Okay, so I had selected for me light bowgun, so I will bring a water light bowgun. Wherever those are, if I could fucking find them. Am I buying Elden Ring? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Elden Ring is something that I'm actually excited for. You know, people who watch me are probably used to me hating everything that's new. Elden Ring, on the other hand, oh my god. I'll be getting that. Gotta be kidding me. Think I'm not gonna get Elden Ring. I'll be eating that for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, unless they fuck something up, but I don't think they will. We'll see what happens with it. You never know, they could actually do something really dumb. But I don't think they will. I think it'll be fairly well done. And that we can expect something very, very good. It was said in my Discord yesterday that Sekiro is not very similar to Souls. It's more of an action game than an RPG. Which is something that I wasn't familiar with. I had no idea. So if people are saying that Elden Ring is more similar to Dark Souls than, say, Elden Ring, excuse me, then Sekiro, okay, let me rephrase that. Fucking hell, I can't think. If Elden Ring is closer to Dark Souls than Sekiro is closer to Dark Souls, then, or is close to Dark Souls, why can't I talk? You know what I mean. But the point is that that fills me with confidence. Because I kept away from Sekiro for the reason that I didn't want Bloodborne V2. I didn't want to be playing a game that I wanted to be a Souls game but just wasn't. So I kept away from it. But people are talking about how Elden Ring is in the vein of Dark Souls, so for that reason I think I have reason to be excited. I don't know, I'm staying open. I'm open to the possibility that it won't be exactly the same as Dark Souls. I have to be, otherwise I'll just be disappointed. Or there will be a good chance of me being disappointed. So I'm going to try to be sensible about it, but overall, it's something to be very excited about, I think. Nawa drip. What's it referencing? I don't know what it's referencing. Oh, he's a Rise player. I played Rise and I don't even know what it's referencing. Ah. I'd forgotten that that was the name of the final boss of Rise. There you go. Well, I have respect for people who go backwards. It's so funny, I mean, Rise is so bad that people are actually going to Generations Ultimate looking for more Monster Hunter. Like, how fucked up is that? That is absolutely, like, that's not just based on this. The fact that there's a guy in this room who's clearly a Rise player. It's based on the fact that this is what I've heard time and time again. People coming to this game from Rise. And it's something I've seen quite a lot of too. Rise players coming to this game. When Rise first came out, there was fucking no one playing this game. There's more people playing now because Rise is not sating the desires of people who are playing Monster Hunter right now. Which is a huge failure on the part of Capcom. Huge failure. I mean, how did they fuck it up that hard? See, it's not good enough to be able to shoot a fucking wire bug around the place. Oh, it's so anime, you know, it's not good enough. It's not good enough that it's all Japanese themed and that you've got some girl fucking singing in the village the whole time. It's not good enough, is it, Capcom? So try a little harder. Maybe make a good game next time. I hear that helps. The final boss for Rise was very underwhelming. Also, in terms of your question as to whether or not I've played Bloodborne, the answer is yes. I'm not going to go into it deeply because I find myself always talking about it, but when Bloodborne came out, I have a friend that I got into the Souls series back in 2012. I had him start with Dark Souls, and he also played Demon Souls. And I was very flattered to have introduced him to a game that he said is probably the best series he's ever played. Referring to Dark Souls and Demon Souls, because Dark Souls 2 wasn't out yet at that time. And I was flattered because he was a person who played a lot of video games. You know, he played a lot of video games, more than I ever would. He would just have, like, he'd get 5 new games every week. Maybe not 5, let's say 3 every week. And he'd be playing them. Sorry about the hammering, hopefully that fucking stops soon. It's Bob the Builder, my best friend. You know about him, probably. But, yeah, I was really impressed that he enjoyed it as much as he did. When Bloodborne came out, he got it. He had a PS4. I didn't. I wasn't going to get a PS4. Bloodborne was sort of marketed at the time as being a Souls game, but sort of a spin-off. Sort of a spin-off. But the way that I viewed it at the time was that, graphically speaking, it was a return to the graphics of Demon Souls. In the sense that it was very clean. It wasn't designed to look really rugged in the same way that Dark Souls was designed to look. Dark Souls, I would say that Dark Souls 2 fits into this as well, but the original Dark Souls was designed to have a very rugged, ugly look, you know, very rough around the edges sort of appearance, whereas Demon Souls was very polished and clean. And when I saw the initial gameplay, like, not even... This was before the reveal trailer, possibly, or maybe it was after the reveal trailer, but this was in a very, very early version of the game when gameplay was being shown for the first time. This was probably early 2014 or something like that, of Bloodborne, which I think was still being called... It was still under the name of its project title, which was... which I can't even remember the name of now. It wasn't called Bloodborne at that time, it was called something else. But basically, because it looked like Demon Souls, and because people were going on about how it was so much like Souls, I was expecting, you know, a Souls game that was kind of like Demon Souls in a way. At least atmospherically speaking. And then I played it, and it wasn't that, and I was annoyed. And that's the extent of it. Because I just realised that I was gearing up to give you a full explanation or a full explanation as to how I felt about Bloodborne and what I experienced and all of that, and I've decided that I'm not going to do that because I've done that enough fucking times. It's happened plenty of times. You know what I love? I get the birds, right? And then once the birds are done, it's time for the hammering. I mean, what the fuck do you want with me? Why can I not record a fucking video without some bloody background disturbance? I didn't realise it was so hard to record without background noise. What do you fucking want from me? Is it because I care? Maybe the people who don't care never have to deal with it. But because I care, I have to fucking deal with just constant background noise. It's lovely. It's my favourite thing. But yeah, Bloodborne was just not what I wanted. I wanted a Souls game and it wasn't a Souls game, and then that's basically it. That's the best way for me to summarise it. I can talk about what pissed me off about Bloodborne all day. Seriously, like I could go on forever. And I only played it with him. Like, okay, I played it for basically the whole time. He bought it for himself on his own console and watched me play it for 15 hours straight. The reason why he did this was because that was kind of the Souls experience. He never really learned how to play it properly himself. He wanted me to play it for him because he just liked watching me play it because I knew what I was doing. And he said, yeah, I've got Bloodborne, but look, I want you to play it. I want to watch you play it. And I offered so many times for him to play it because I felt bad. I was like, shit, this is your game, man. And he was like, no, I want to watch you play it. And I did. So I basically spent 15 hours playing that game. And it was pure misery. And not in the sense that it was difficult, rather in the sense that it didn't give me anything. I wanted something, and I didn't get that. Instead, I was handed... No, I'm not going to get into details, but... because then I'll get started and I won't stop. But the point is that it's just not what I wanted. Because I couldn't look at it as its own thing. I'm sure that there are issues unrelated to that bias, unrelated to the fact that I wanted a Souls game but didn't get it. I'm sure that there are issues that, even if you look at the game on its own, are indeed issues, but the reality is that we had that, plus the fact that I didn't want something that was a departure from the Souls formula, that was weighing on me at that time. And even to this day, I just won't touch it. And it's because of that experience that I know nothing about Sekiro. Not only have I chosen not to play it, I have elected to avoid all information regarding Sekiro to the extent that I don't even know what it really looks like. I actually don't even know what it looks like. And I like it that way. So, there you go. I know it's kind of Japanese themed, so I guess what I imagine in my mind is something kind of similar to Neo in its visual appearance, but outside of that, I really don't know. What hurts your head, Alexian? I hope you're not talking about the hammering. If the hammering's hurting your head, then I'm so sorry. I wish I could control it. I really wish I could. But, oh, you mean regarding what I'm talking about with Bloodborne? My Bloodborne experience, I see. You mean as far as me not liking it? I think, well, it's interesting that you would put it that way. You're totally wrong about everyone hating it. Everyone loved it. Oh, whoops. You know how that happened? This is a controller problem again. I did not actually stand still and then press B to do a back hop. What I actually did was I moved my analog stick to the left and then pressed B, but because my controller is fucked, in the left analog stick it didn't move me to the left, so I just stood still, which is great, and I died as a result. So that's always nice. We might even fail this fucking quest because my controller's broken. But, no, a lot of people loved Bloodborne. I'm one of the very few who didn't like it. So I don't think he failed in that regard. I'm sure he doesn't want to be married to the Souls formula. I'm sure he doesn't. Because that probably wouldn't creatively inspire him. But the thing is, like, I don't worry so much about whether people like or dislike what he makes, because at the end of the day, you have to make things for yourself before you make things for others. Let's say, for instance, you have a specific formula that really works, and any departure from that is going to be something people don't like. Well, too bad, because at the end of the day, that person needs to do whatever creatively inspires them. So I look at it purely from an end-user perspective, from a gamer's perspective. From a gamer's perspective, I didn't like it. I didn't like it. I mean, I haven't been able to play it and then think about it as a game on its own, but I have retrospectively looked at the experience that I had in Bloodborne, and I've considered how it is as a game on its own. And I guess on its own it's fine, but there are certain things that it does that just aren't as good as Souls, in my opinion. So, yeah. I think the Souls formula touched on a certain degree of perfection that was not present in Bloodborne. That's what I think. So, no, I haven't bought the Nintendo Pro controller. The reason why is because I have an extreme preference for both analog sticks to be in this position. I don't like having one analog stick up here and then one here or something like that. You know what I mean. That's how it would be. It would be one here, one here. I don't like that at all. I hate that. They need to be in line with one another, because I'm very used to the PlayStation controller. Now, the classic controller Pro that I used for Tri and 3 Ultimate had the analog sticks in that position, so that was comfortable for me. That's the only controller that I've used that wasn't like a Sony controller for Monster Hunter that I enjoyed, and the reason why was because the analog sticks were in the position that I wanted them to be in. Now, why Nintendo decided to take the Xbox route, I don't fucking know, but maybe they wanted to distance themselves from Sony in some way, I don't know, but all I can tell you is that I don't like it. My fingers won't go in the right place. That's all I can tell you. My muscle memory is so terribly linked to PlayStation controllers with Monster Hunter that I wouldn't enjoy it. So I've experienced it. I use the Joy-Con controller, so I know what it's like. So yeah, I can say that I don't like it. Yeah, we can do that quest once more, and then that might conclude this recording for me. Let's see what the roulette gives me this time. Lands. Okay. I'm glad that we succeeded with the hunt in spite of my stupid death. But... no, I'll keep with this controller. I just for a moment considered using the Joy-Con controller, and then I realised, no, I don't think I would want to do that. I don't think I'd want to do that. Okay, so annoyingly I did go and use one of my item sets, and now I have all this stuff in my inventory again, but whatever. What is my water lance? It is Nibble Staff. It's a grenade on a stick. That's what it is. It's called Dragon's Howl, I believe, yeah. Yeah. Grenade on a stick. Yeah, I've never played the Switch portably. I didn't want a portable console. I've never been the type of person to make use of portable consoles in the way that they've been designed for. I have only played on portable consoles because that is the console that the games I wanted to play happened to be released on. So I wanted to play, the reason why I got the PSP originally was to play Castlevania Dracula X Chronicles, and then I discovered Monster Hunter Freedom 2, and I got Freedom Unite when it released on the PSP, and then I was obsessed with Monster Hunter after that point. And the only reason why I got a 3DS was so that I could play Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate. And then I got Generations Ultimate as well because that released on that. And then, I got Generations on the 3DS because it released on the 3DS. And then I bought the Switch because Generations Ultimate came out. I've never bought a portable console because I wanted to play on the go. I've always preferred the stationary console experience. Now, what I like about the Switch is that I have the option to connect to my TV in such a simplistic manner. I'm glad that they have made a compromise with stationary console gamers in this way. I like that. So, while it doesn't really perform as well as a PS4 or an PS4 or an Xbox One, it still more or less does what I want as far as it connecting to the TV properly, and I don't really have to treat it as a portable console in any way. There's nothing that requires me to take it out of its dock. Like it remains docked, and it is for all intents and purposes a stationary console. It just doesn't perform all that well because it does have, like specs wise, doesn't perform all that well because it does have portable console capabilities. So, yeah. I'm actually going to go to the bathroom. I'll be back in a few minutes. I am back. He's got high rank armor. Oh my god. No way in hell. No way in hell. This is a hyper Brachydios. If it were a standard Brachydios, maybe. But a hyper Brachydios with on-site items only. Sorry, guy. You're gonna have to get yourself a better set, especially by Hunt rank 12. Maybe if you were Hunt rank 10, I'd give you a pass on high rank armor, but Hunt rank 12, no fucking way. I don't know who's carried your dumbass, but okay, maybe it's not nice to say dumbass. He might not know better, but the point is that there's just no way. Goodness me. Fucking Hunter rank 12 with high rank armor. That's one thing that I'll tell you, Beans, which you've probably managed to work out just by playing 5th generation Monster Hunter. It's not like they incentivize this in 5th gen either, but when you get into G rank, get some G rank armor, please. Because it's just not good enough to have high rank armor by like tier 2 of G rank. By tier 3 it's like, get out. It's just people don't want to take the time to get the armor. That's the thing, they want to just focus on getting through G rank because they think they can get by, but it's just not good enough. Because there will be certain quests that you won't be able to get by with, like what we have posted on the board now. That's a hyper G rank monster. High rank defense is not good enough. Not even remotely. Alright. I have not eaten. I'm glad that I checked. I had a feeling that I had not. Would have been better if I did it sooner than this, but whatever. Hold on. Yeah, Slugger is in this game. Check that out. It's funny, I thought Slugger wasn't in 4th gen. I haven't consciously seen it, or consciously noticed it, in this generation of Monster Hunter. How weird is that? Looks like I have to get Jinxed Cat to get Exchanger this time around, but that's alright. Jinxed Cat, while it is kind of annoying, is something I can live with. How are the hunts coming along? Just fine. I'm currently doing the Hyper Brachydios event quest, specifically the Drifters event quest, so that Jonathan can get the Toyohisa sword. Oh god, that's right, I'm jinxed. My controls are backwards. Can't blame my controller for that one. At least I kept my health this time, didn't I? Yeah. The only problem with Jinxed Cat for me this time was having confusion. Just gonna watch for when I run out of confusion, or for when confusion runs out, so that I can switch to the correct direction to run in. I'm watching it like a hawk. Look how cartoonish the question marks look. Honestly. I don't know how long it would last. I guess for a full minute. Looks like it lasts for a full minute, honestly. This is going for ages. Can't believe it. Whoops. Again, the confusion is, as the name would suggest, is confusing me. Because, there we go, it just ran out. So I don't know if that's a full minute. Oh, come on. No, it's a full minute. Check that out. So we're going with the Lance right now. which is not the most comfortable thing for me to use versus a Hyperbrachydios, but I should be alright. I just feel like I don't do as much damage with the lance, honestly. Oh, you've got to be joking. I don't know why I thought I was outside the explosive range of that. I guess I'm being a bit lazy. Damn it. I hate that fucking... You know what I hate? Even the, like, it doesn't matter if you're in striker mode or striker style. The counter-attack is still that heavy thrust from guild style. I don't like that. Don't like it at all. Have to shield assault this one. Just going in nice and close so that I avoid the tail. Well, I was shielding where he was going to jump, but he didn't quite make it there, so... You can see I've already dropped down to blue sharpness, but I can probably live with that. Fortunately, they let you go into an like an A combo with the lance much faster after you've done a shield advance here in 4th gen. In 3rd gen, it's very slow to go into like an upward thrust out of a shield advance. So that's refreshing at least. Look at all my stamina going. Oh, I can just crap. I can just grab this. There we go. Well, there was a bit of crapping going on, figuratively speaking. I was figuratively crapping myself. But sort of. Not truly. I guess I was concerned. We'll say that I was concerned. How about that? But the timing worked in my favour. Just going for a little drop attack there. It's a bit cute of me. Oh, I was hoping for the tail to grab me there. Also hit me. Don't know why grab was deemed in my mind to be an appropriate term, but I'm struggling with terms at the moment. Oh no. Well, what I just did there was all kinds of wrong. All kinds of wrong. The confusion's still affecting me, yeah. It's not just an in-game effect. I should have gotten... Oh, wow. Come to think of it. I'm so used to not taking mini whetstones in the box that I didn't take mini whetstones for this quest, which means that I have no whetstones because this is on-site items only. What the fuck? And I don't have farcasters, so I can't very well teleport to the fucking camp. So this is kind of horrendous. I think I'm gonna have to go to camp, guys, because I can't sharpen my weapon. That's very awkward. Well, there we go. You can't counter on the first hit, it's worth mentioning, so... Oh, fuck off, Ludroth, seriously. I don't need fucking Water Blight right now. I'm gonna get in position for Corkscrew Jab. I would much rather do this at a higher sharpness level than green, but whatever. Surprisingly, I'm not bouncing off his head with... Oh, now I'm bouncing off his head. I guess I was hitting the... What's it called again? That thing on his head, it has a specific name. I guess I could call it a horn. Hey, that was a good flinch. That was definitely a flinch on the basis of my attack dealing damage to him, but of course, that would have been lack compensation damage. Yeah, I wonder if the team has even left me whetstones in the box. That's a good question. And given that he's limping, is it even worth going back to the box? I probably won't do that. I don't think I need to go back to the box. If I end up in yellow sharpness, it's going to be a sad day, but... Well, no one's going to have a trap here, so I may as well... Oh, we've got a bunch of greatsword guys, so they would have a better wake up than me. I was going to do a charge shot, but... Yeah, Juvenator's doing a wake up there. I think his wake up hit ended up not hitting the head. I think it hit the body or the fist, which is kind of funny, but whatever. We did alright for this quest though, all things considered. I think we had 2 deaths and I didn't have whetstones, but hey, at least that was fairly quick. Goody. Why is everyone using greatsword on this monster? I don't know. I think it's fun. I enjoy oh, Juvenator, I don't need whetstones now. Oh, that's Jonathan. I saw Jay. Juvenator is kind of the same length as Jonathan. Kind of. -1 character, but... Yeah. I thought it was Juvenator giving me that. Well, it's always nice to have them eventually, isn't it? Mini whetstone, you know what? Damn it. No, no! Trying to sharpen my weapon. No! He's not letting me sharpen. Yeah, Jonathan is just a Souls player in chat. Yeah, people in Generations Ultimate also always take the max potions that are in the box. The way the max potions in the box are supposed to work is the reason why there are only 2 given. It's because you can only die twice and still fight the monster. Now, that doesn't include insurance, obviously, but the reason why the max potions are there is so that you can use your own max potions during the hunt, and then if you die, you have a max potion in the box to use to get yourself back up to 150. But people always take the max potions at the start of the quest. I mean, I don't know why that is, but they just do that, and it's stupid. I don't like that at all. People are very greedy though. And let's not forget Cavenator. He always takes 2 stacks of potions. Always. He will not take just 1. That is the level of... Well, I wouldn't say greed, but I would say at least that is the level of confidence he has in himself. Alright, well, that's going to be it for my recording today, guys. I hope you all enjoyed. It was longer than the last one anyway. The last one was about 2 hours. This is just under 3. But I do thank you all for tuning in, and I will see you all when I'm next going live. And yeah, thanks for joining me. I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.